evening. This is Sarah Shannon, and it is Thursday, September the 18th, 2025. I'm doing this fun little video, whatever, talk about what I've been doing today. I have some things coming up, and so I'm just talking to preparing myself for the things that are coming up that I'm hoping will happen very soon. Probably will be happening very soon. I'm hoping everything works out and stuff. So I'm doing some little inventory here. So I have this classroom letter that I created for, what I'm going to be using it for and everything, except the camera. Oh, it won't let me pan around. So I'm going to have to do it this way. Have all these different copies of it here, different colors or whatever. My classroom letter. This is created with Michelle Foray. Back for the primary. I love her little template that she did. All about me, and it's talking to the students about the one I'm going to be working with. I won't say where it's going to be or what capacity it will be yet until I have 100% confirmation, but it will be all about me. And so it just introduced myself to a little bit about myself, my favorite things, and contact information on that. And then I have my discipline policy here. Discipline policy has my rules on my positive and negative consequences. And then what I do, in case when I'm entering a new situation with a new group of students that I'm working with, what I do is I like to have all this all laid out in a folder for them. Like a little manila folder. This is what typically everybody uses. A little manila folder, no big deal about that. And so, and what I usually have is I have my discipline policy. I do some type of all about me for when students first walk in the little group I'm working with them in, or a classroom, put in a situation. So I got this online. This is not mine. I got this online. And so I give them all about me when they come in. We have a little pencil, a little treater for the desk form and everything like that. And then I also have my meet the teacher, that what I just showed you in my discipline policy, and they can look that over. That'll be in the folder, and then the information sheets and all the things they have to fill out while they're waiting for us to get started. And then of course we do, getting to know your games and all that and everything. And then we jump right into the schedule that we're going to be doing, and talk about the discipline policy, positive and negative consequences, the procedures and all that and everything. And then we jump right in. And what I like to do, this is my own, you can do whatever you want to do, but I like to know what the kids can do when they first come in. So what I do is I like to give them, I like them to take their interest inventory. They're all about me, so I give them, again, this is not mine, I got this online somewhere. Apologize for another person's name, I couldn't find it. But then I like to take that and I have them do an essay, and I printed it out, but it was having problems. But I have them do an essay, and so they take the information they did all about me. I give them a rubric of what I'm expecting, and I just ask them to write me, transfer the information they wrote and they're all about me into an essay. And the reason why I like to do that is because and then I also do a reading short passage for them. It's not very long, but it will give me an idea of what they bring, what their strengths, what their weaknesses are. Can I write a sentence? Can I write an essay? Can I write a paragraph? Can I read a simple reading passage at a particular level and answer the questions? So that way I can have an idea, and I take that and put it in a folder, and I make notes about what I see formally as well as informally based on those results, as well as their communication skills and how they respond to the activities that are going on with them, how they work in groups. And then I make notes on each student, so then I can look at that and I can plan accordingly my small groups, if it's a larger group or if it's the small group sessions I'm working with. I can plan for each individual child what their particular needs are. That's what I like to do, but you can do whatever you want to do. And so what I have here, I printed this out online. I have something similar to this. This is, I'm saying the person's name, Jennifer Finley, and this is something she did. This is excellent because it's similar to my verb response. This is my verb response question sheet that I did. I have not made it look better yet because I just haven't had time to do so. And it's really powerful the way that I have it set up, because what I do is I just have a student sit in the corner with the partner, and then they just practice. So for example, the first one says, verbally share one word from the text with a context clue, prefix, suffix, or root word and what you found its literal meaning. And I give them a suggested sentence starter. One word I saw in the text that had a suffix in it was blank. This word means blank. I can justify my answer because. And then so the second one is verbally share the author's purpose for writing the text. To inform, to express, to persuade, or to entertain. Why? Suggest a sentence starter if they want to use it. The author's purpose for writing this text was blank. I conclude this based on the fact that. So I just have the students practice this, and they're going to get better and better throughout the year. And when you practice communication skills, they're going to get better with active vocabulary. So this was, I thought, was cute for small groups, this Jennifer Finley activity. And so what I would do is I would introduce, let's say for the month, students have 10 objectives they're focusing on. Let's say they're working on figurative language and main idea and genres and drama characteristics or something like that, or whatever the objectives are. Let's say they're working on 5 of them for the month, just say it off. So what I would do is I would do a whole group activity on something similar to this to introduce it to them. So let's say if the first one was main point, this is what she used. I would do a whole group activity with those, just focusing on those for my 10-minute segment in my reading block. The 10-minute section that I implement for, sorry, that light is in there, sorry. No, okay, so that 10-minute section, and then, so I would just have to go over that with them, give them samples of what I can to show them, books or whatever I want to use, whatever I want to use to be able to show them. And then when I work in my small groups, I would just take those 5 or that 10, and I would practice with my small group, the lower ones that needed that extra additional practice, so that they have those active vocabulary words. That's very important that they know those active vocabulary words and they're able to give an example of those. And then what I would do is I would have one of my small groups, the leader of that group, like when I have a rotation small groups, I would have them copy me. And so that group over there would work on those with that group and do the exact same thing I did. So to give them that further reinforcement what I did. So about the time they practice it a couple of times within the month, then they'll have those vocabulary words mastered. So that way when they do when they're working with small groups, whenever I do that, or when I sit at home, or whenever they practice on their own, that light is getting on my nerves. Sorry, when they practice on their own, then they really have mastered exactly vocabulary words, and they're also able to verbalize and communicate that based on the suggestions that I give them if they want to use them. And so that's something that I have here, and this is my game that I created. I have a game book. I cannot find it. I lost it. I have 9 games I've created based on my office point of view and character trait bingo and context clues and all that. But this is one that I saved. It's called Office Point of View game. So that's some game that we probably play something like that. And then this is one of my stories, The Uninvited Guests, which I have beautiful pictures for Big Creative. You can read it to them online, whatever. And then they can also, it has a skit to go along with it that I created. That's a compare contrast to the story. It's really cute little Christmas story because it's like, if it's getting close to Christmas, it's a beautiful Christmas story I created, whatever. And then it has a skit activity. You can compare contrast the story together. And then, I printed out. Oh, and then I saw Lee Ford in Texas. I'm in Texas right now. I'm in Texas right now. Lee Ford actually has this wonderful, awesome teacher resource, and I try to print out the student copy of it because one of the characteristics of highly effective teachers is that teachers assist students in self-analyzing their own understanding of the information. So I try to print out the student version of this Lee Ford form. Here it is right here. This is not mine. This is from Lee Ford, and it's a teacher. It's a teacher learner report. So I try to put the students copy out because what I'm going to do with the groups that I'm working with is I'm going to have all of them have a folder that I'm going to give all of them. In addition to their interactive notebook, the interactive notebook is going to be something that we're doing all throughout the year. But when they first walk in, they're going to have to put together this folder that I give them. So I'm just going to take a simple folder just like this. And then I'm going to give them some protectors. I'll put them in a school supply list. And so all they're going to do is they're going to have a nice folder of, and the first thing that's going to be in their folder are the objectives that they're going to have to master by the end of the year, and the student learner report that I'm getting from Lee Ford that I love because it self-assesses students on, they're asking themselves, what do they know this information? So when I pull them in small groups and I'm giving an assessment, when I'm giving them an assessment of where they are, like my informal as well as my formal assessments, what they know, then I can ask them their own opinion. Have you looked over this? I'll give them time to do so. And then what are your feelings about these objectives? Do you feel comfortable with these? What do you feel strong in? What do you feel weak in? And I make notes, and then when I have my folder about them, I can make note of that. So when I'm talking to them about it in the future, when I see how much they've grown throughout the year, and then when I talk to their parents, I'm going to say, well, listen, I talked to your child, and they said they're struggling with this area, but they're stronger in this area. Let me give you some copies of the assessments that I've given them, and then let me compare to you my own notes and my feelings about what I've experienced with them based on my observations of them. So the students are taking ownership of their own learning. They take what they know, and then you compare that in the middle of the year, and at the end of the year, and how much they've grown, or the time that you have with them, whatever it may be. So that's something that's wonderful. And then the folder is going to include a lot of my own material in it, as well as the required material, depending on what situation I'm in, because I'm doing multiple tasks here. So it's going to include a lot of my own material that I've created. You see my book here that I've created here, and all that and everything. So it includes all the objectives and everything in there and all that. And so, that's just examples of what I'm doing. And so I've been working on this all day. So this folder, I'm going to do a copy. I did previously in the past, I've done a copy of what the folder would look like. Once I create a new one, then I'll go ahead and share that next time. Hope you enjoyed that. That's a little bit of what Ms. Shannon has been doing today. Have a great day.